Hello, eighth grade. Happy going to be Thursday morning tomorrow. This is me on Wednesday afternoon, trying to get out of here and go to a rally in the park for preschool in our community, and then go home and then try to play some basketball tonight and not cripple myself. So wish me luck. So what are we talking about today? Well, it's springtime, so this is our yearly reminder to stay away from the track equipment, off the pits. If you find any other track equipment out there, it's not for you. As mature eighth graders, hopefully we're not having problems with that, but that's just something we face every year this time of year. Excuse me. Something that's been on my mind the last few weeks involves manners and just saying things like "my bad" or "I'm sorry," "excuse me." I've had some situations where a kid said, "I didn't mean to do that" to another kid, and claimed it was an accident. And I tried telling them, "What did you say afterwards?" "Oh, nothing," or "I just walked away." Think about yourself. If you get someone that bumps into you in the hallway and they don't say anything, you probably assume that that was on purpose. Okay, so those are really powerful words for strong people. Weak people try to just clam up or run away or not say anything. So and manners even extends into pushing your chairs in the library or the classroom. Those transfer to every walk of life, in school, applying for a job, at home, trying to impress a girl or a boy, whatever. Maybe dating's on my mind because of what you guys have been talking about. Manners are awesome, and I hope that you have them and you use them. Sources of Strength campaign number 2, which is called Belong, should be in process now. I'll have to check with Mrs. Bolger on where we're at. I believe you guys are making little handprints or have already, and we're going to put them up in the library. Should be cool. No matter who you are, your background, what you look like, the way you act, your sexual orientation, you have a place here at WTMS. If someone tells you differently, you tell them to come to me. All right. So let's make sure everyone feels like they belong. And I've been talking to the younger grades about the future of WTMS and how they can help the culture. I hope that we're a place where we help others. And when people see meanness, they do something about it. And I do not like the fact that sometimes in our school culture, there's I don't want to be a narc. I don't want to be a tattletale stuff. Stuff's made me mad for years. I can't get rid of it. But it's something that you as school leaders, as eighth graders, can help with. And honestly, you guys have been a great eighth grade class, and I think you set a great tone, but that's one thing that we can get rid of in school culture. So see what you can do with the last 10 weeks you have at WTMS. Speaking of wrapping things up at WTMS, your last Pride Week, y'all, can you defend your title? Honestly, I like a good competition. So I have been trying to motivate 6th and 7th to come after the throne, come after you guys. And sometimes when you've won a lot, you may think you are got it wrapped up. You don't have to participate. So we shall see. Student council did a good job of trying to help us find some new ones, but most of this is some stuff that we've done before. But they've really, if we do something too unique, most people won't dress up. So we want as many people to participate as possible. So Monday, #Roots Pride this coming Monday. Find some clothes from your parents or grandparents or something that represents what you're proud of when it comes to your ancestors and culture. And your homeroom teacher should have already asked or will be today who wants to participate as the contestant in scavenger hunt. We'll need somebody smart, fast, and we need one volunteer from each homeroom to participate in these things. And if you remember right, the dress up is certainly important, the percentage of people dressed up in our overall count, but lunchtime contests are a big part of the scoring as well. So participate and rep your homeroom. Remember, there are daily prizes for homerooms who participate the most, and there's also the overall competition that you guys have won before. This is where we are trying to work in some really cool ideas that student council had. I just couldn't find myself one that I thought would work for a lot of people. But you know what I thought would work is you guys always like to request pajamas as a dress-up day thing, so we've certainly done it before. And I thought, how does that work into our theme of Pride Week? But you know what? You should be proud that you've lived through this just unique, historical, difficult pandemic. Okay, it's hit some people harder than others, certainly, but across the country, it has hugely impacted life and your education and your childhood. So you deserve some chill time by wearing some jammies, all right? And come ready to relax on Tuesday. Good thing you're going to be in loose clothing because we're going to have a Just Dance challenge where the Just Dance video game will be projected up in the pod, and the people who can stay with those moves the longest will get to stay and be the winners, all right? That reminds me that if you want to be counted in the dress-up day, you need to be wearing something different than you normally wear. If you wear sweats all the time and you say, look, I'm relaxed, I'm wearing jammies. No, okay? When we have people come by and count and stand up and say, hey, I'm representing my culture because my culture likes the color red. No, it needs to be something different. All right. That way it's clear that we can count you. So Tuesday, we deserve some chill time, wear some jammies, be ready for the Just Dance party contest. Wednesday, fan pride. We've done this before, but I think it's part of celebrating what's unique about you. That what you love, whether it's a sports team or a certain YouTube channel or personality, a video game, a book character, a band, those likes are partially what define you. Okay, that was my wife, sorry. And we have to celebrate those. So wear your favorite stuff, rep them, and we'll be having a karaoke contest. Mrs. Williams asked me, will they be assigned a song? No, we'll give you a list of songs, as many as possible, and the contestant will be able to choose, and we'll have a panel of judges to see who the best karaoke person was. All right? Thursday would normally be the time for our big pep assembly, and we haven't had one in a while now because of COVID. We're not ready for that yet to put all 350 of you in one small gym, but it will be our school pride day. Your school pride shirt should be here by then, hopefully. I'm sure they will be. And that is also free phone day. Remember, teachers can tell you to put them away. It's totally up to them if you have them out in class on that day. And you can still get it taken from you if you don't respect their wishes. All right? Out in the hallways or in the library, I encourage you to use your phone for good, guys. Maybe take some pictures. You could use that hashtag. I hope you have some pride in your time that you put at your middle school. You should, because you've been a good class. And there have been very formative years for you. The lunchtime contest will be a mixed sport skill challenge. We will need soccer, volleyball, basketball. We'll need all sorts of people. I'm going to try to design a pretty challenging one this time. And that's it, guys. So I wonder if you're going to end strong with your time here and finish off your winning streak, or you're going to get kind of lazy and think, who cares, and think you're too cool. You're not in high school yet. You're not too cool. You're still a wonderful eighth grader. So hope to see lots of you participating and just showing pride for yourself, your family, your town, your school. All right. What do we got going on? Well, we have our second to last lesson on dating. And this is what we talked about last week, some guidelines for intelligent dating. Please don't start too young. Try to date people your own age. It can be tricky if you don't. You don't always have to be exclusive. Get to know a lot of different people. Don't miss out on different opportunities. Get to know different people. Always nice to date in groups. Have a plan for what you're going to do on your date. And if you don't set your own boundaries, somebody else may set them for you. So make sure you know what you're going to do before you go out on those dates. So today is about the 4 great, oh my goodness, it just says myths, but we don't have the other word on there, the 4 great sex myths, okay? So we have some Greek gods over there, but these are some common misconceptions about sex that maybe you have in your brain. Obviously, you don't like talking about this topic, and this would be good to do in person if we could, because I could see you guys squirming and turning red. But some level of frankness is important, okay, for people your age. Not that I'm going to be too explicit or anything, but these are things that Sean Covey in his book thinks that you may have heard or maybe myths that have got sway of you. And remember, it's like a paradigm. Just because people say it a lot or it's written on the internet doesn't mean it's true. So these are things you may have heard before. Let's bust these myths, shall we? People like to tell you that if you're not having sex, you're going to feel like this guy. Everybody else around you is doing it, so you're lame if you don't. False. For 8th graders in the U.S., the number is only about 10 to 15%. Even all the way up until 18 and seniors, so when you're finishing up being a teen, even then it's under 50. Okay, it's never really been shown to be 75, or not everybody. So it's not everybody. And that number's not going up. Mrs. Williams and I were chatting just a little while ago, and she said, it seems like it's more. It's not, though. Okay? Statistics show that it's kind of holding steady, the amount of teens that are having sex. Lots of people, no matter what, no matter if they're band kids or athletes or, just somebody who likes drama, whatever, any kind of teen, you can wait if you want to. If you are going to wait, I would just tell you it's going to take some effort. One kid that Sean talked to said this is what he did. He controlled what he saw and heard, songs, media. Okay, that can not be helpful. Staying away from pressure situations. and practicing the buddy system, or maybe never being paired off is helpful. So don't let somebody tell you that. It's just not true countrywide. It's not true locally, especially in 8th grade. And you don't have to be everybody, and you don't have to follow the crowd. But guess what? The crowd's not really as big as people say it is. Next one. Teens can't control their urges. You're just like Tasmanian devils, blah, blah, blah. And their hormones are so crazy that some people, when you say talk to them about sex ed, just say it's going to happen. So just tell them to be having safe sex. I don't, Sean doesn't agree with that. I don't either. Okay. He showed us, and this is actually from some stuff from his previous book about 7 habits, that no matter what the stimulus, as humans, we always have the freedom to choose our response. And we can use self-awareness, our conscience, our imagination, and our willpower to say no. Where Taz, other animalistic figures, they don't have those 4 human tools. We do. Sean Covey talks about all the amazing things humanity has done over the years. Traveled to the moon, split the atom, wrote beautiful books and poetry. If we can do that, we can control our urges. It's not that these urges aren't there biologically, but they don't have to control you. Love this quote. I'm redecorating my office over the summer, and I want to make a bunch of quotes on here, and I really like this one. We must all suffer from one of 2 pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons. So there are so many long-term benefits too of saying, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. The urge is going to be controlled as opposed to what you might feel afterwards. And there's other types of urges besides sexual ones. So think about, and yesterday when I went home, I had an eating urge, and there was a bunch of potato chips, and they were like the really greasy kind. And my son Sawyer was having some, and he had like 3, and I had more than 3 because I was hungry and tired. And afterwards, just a greasy mess on my hands, and my tummy felt gross. So when you give into those urges, there's regret on the other hand. But if you can say, I'm going to be committed, yeah, you might suffer some regret then, but it's temporary and not as much. And this anonymous teen told Sean one time, we are so much more than our urges. I think that's important to remember, that yes, maybe as you grow and your bodies are changing, hormones are somewhat stronger, but you're a human. You have these 4 human tools. Use them. Don't be Taz. Don't be controlled by your urges. Few things about safe sex is safe. I made several slides here. Whoa, did I go past something? Yeah, there we go. We just want to talk about, we don't want to do that. Sorry. The odds of something. So you may have, and this is sort of a fear versus reality. You have fear of sharks, possibly. These are your odds of dying in a shark attack, 1 in 280 million. This is from a Harvard study that Sean Covey quotes in his book. Lots of people are afraid to fly. Your odds of dying in an airplane crash, 1 in 3 million. I'm not a mathematician, but those aren't great. Home burglary at night, 1 in 181. That seems a lot more likely, but it's still not very good odds. That is, I can't do that. Not even 8%, like 0.8%. That's pretty crazy. But as a teen, you have 1 in 4 chances of catching an STD. I didn't look in that if that's people who actually engage in sexual activity, but either way, the odds are much greater that this could happen to you as opposed to these other things that people fear. All right. What else? He does a good job, and you've been in health class and you know what STDs are, but I just wanted to throw things out here that maybe you don't know. The younger you are when you start engaging in sexual activity, the more susceptible you are to STDs. Why? Because you're still developing your antibodies. So younger people can't fight off infection as well as older people can. So just remember that. There are many types of STDs, but in that list, there are some that are literally incurable that you can never get rid of. Certainly, there's some deadly ones. There's some that can lead to cancer. There was one in here, Sean was talking about somebody who said, if I have sex, can I get cancer? And a doctor was saying, like, no, sex can't lead to cancer, but it can lead to HPV, which is actually the most common form of sexually transmitted disease. And that gives you a much higher risk of cancer. It often leads to cancer. So in a way, yes. Certain STDs can be passed on to your children, and you can have STDs spread by oral sex. So these are some myths and things that you may not have been aware of. Another myth, you can very well get pregnant the first time that you have sex. So somebody who says something like that, or there's some other myths that are out there, if you're having sex, you can get pregnant. There's no like, oh, in this situation. What else? Sex using a condom or using birth control is less dangerous sex, certainly. And I would never discourage you from using those things if you wanted to make things less dangerous, but there's still risk. Birth control is not designed for STDs, and condoms are not 100% effective. So if you want something 100% safe from disease, pregnancy, and emotional scarring, abstinence or abstaining from sexual activity of any kind is the only thing that keeps you 100% safe. You can limit your risk, but the risk is still there. Remember that. Fourth and final sex myth. This is going pretty good, and I'll be able to see what my wife wanted. This is good. It's no big deal. Media, TV, internet, movies, your screens, whatever you might see over here, has definitely helped spread this myth that sexual activity and different things on TV has become more common, but they don't accurately portray things very often. And I'm not talking even about gross stuff. I'm just talking about regular TV has that sometimes. They don't always do a very good job of showing you the truth about intimacy and closeness that should be a part of any sort of a relationship that's heading towards sex, and the commitment that needs to come there too. That's not as interesting, I guess, to portray, but watch out. Remember that guy who said, I want to abstain from sex and I limit what I can see and hear? You might want to do that because they send you some messages that it is no big deal, and they're just false. But I hope you realize that when you watch a superhero show, you don't have to do everything they do either. Okay, part of that is escapism, and it's myth and fantasy. But if you believe those fantasies, it can be dangerous. About half of teens who had had sex wish they would have waited. So yes, it's a big deal. And Sean in this book, I don't know if he calls it that for the first time or somebody else did, says after having sex, many people have suffered from regrets, become depressed. Oh, and that's what he said. Depression is like an emotional STD that often, especially if the relationship sours, someone feels disappointed, betrayed. I thought he was going to be this. I thought she really loved me. Whatever it is, can lead to a lot of stuff. And remember, that's outside of pregnancy and STDs. I think people only focus on those two things, but you're making a very I guess, important decision there that is implying that I want to be with this person. I'm committed to this person. And when that doesn't work out and you want to say like, oh, that's not what sex means. It is what it means. And people who try to pretend otherwise get in a lot of trouble. All right. So just know that it is a big deal and not everyone's doing it. And those are some of the myths I want you to be aware of. This will be the only time we talk about sex this year in pod. I'm sure you guys are okay with that. But I had to put in this, just Sean doesn't talk about it, but just remember that consent matters. Okay. And if you don't know what that means, ask your parents that no matter how old you are, even when you're married, consent matters. And if someone, boy or girl, says no, I kind of like the way this is phrased. So no is a complete sentence. That's it. They don't have to explain themselves or justify or say, well, this, or I don't want to, or no matter what it is, whether it's going all the way with sex or even holding hands, it's a partner-based situation. Okay? And both people have to clearly consent to that act. Or if there's pressure involved, you're in the wrong, bottom line. Okay? From there, let's wrap this up with what Sean says. I've read a lot of stuff about educating youth and not just about dating and sex, but other things, and not trying to use scare tactics. And if you just say all the time, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, you don't ever want to do this. Reminds me a little bit of Ouija boards. You guys know Ouija boards? Okay, I may have played with the Ouija board once or twice, I think in middle school, partially because I had heard, oh, this is evil and terrible and you shouldn't do it. And you tell a teen too many times that you shouldn't do it, some of them get the idea that they should. All right. So I love Sean's approach. Sex in itself is not bad or wrong. In fact, it's a wonderful thing at the right time with the right person, someone you're truly committed to, when you're able and mature enough to make impactful decisions that can impact your whole life. But it is very risky and dangerous in many ways at the wrong time with the wrong person. So that is pod today. Thanks for listening to this difficult topic. Hope you got something out of it. See you guys tomorrow. Can't wait to be seeing what you're doing with Pride Week and see if you guys can finish strong. I don't know. If I was betting, I think 7th grade has a shot, guys. I really do. I just think that maybe you've won too many times, and I can't shut this off for some reason. Come on, I'm just vamping here. There it comes. But maybe you prove me wrong. All right. Sorry, this is a little bit longer. Talk to you.